This week. What? This week, Boba fucking Fett.
Little biatch.
Little biatch.
What? It's Clone Wars Season 2 episodes 20 through 22 this week on your Star Wars Safe Space. Stick around. Howdy, Star Warriors. Welcome to Star Wars Safe Space, your non-toxic low-sodium Star Wars show that doesn't make you feel bad for not knowing that the Millennium Falcon made a cameo appearance in Spaceballs. I've seen that movie a gazillion times, and I learned that today. I've never seen it in Spaceballs. So
really?
Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah, never seen it. Never seen it. I saw it in was it The Phantom Menace? I don't know. In one of the prequel films, I think it was The Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
It makes a little appearance in that. I saw it in there, and it was like microscopic. Didn't see it in Spaceballs. I've seen Spaceballs probably more than I've seen Star Wars. Never saw it. So, Sherry, thanks for pointing that out.
Parked at the diner.
Yeah, right at the diner. All right. So whether you're a hardcore fan or just a little sporsy curious, this is your Star Wars Safe Space. We are the Circle of Nerds, and we do absolutely love Star Wars, even if we don't always like it. So let us meet the crew, shall we? From my left, your right, star of stage and screen, it is the sensational and sleepy Sherry.
Hello, everyone. And Sirius Black in the
Sirius Black in the background. I feel like all of us woke up, like you and I just woke up from a nap. I think Daddy Louie said that he was hurting.
Well, hello, everyone.
So it's going to be a high energy show tonight. I can already feel it. I can feel it in my nuggets. And hailing from parts unknown. Uh-oh. I forgot how to do the thing. Wait, no, I didn't. I got it. Let's see. We'll go right here. Hey, from parts unknown, it's T to the Oni.
Welcome back to the galaxy, everybody.
And from the outer rim territory of Bostoween, it is Daddy Louie.
Hello, children.
All righty, that is us. That is, and I am Tommy D, your more than slightly obnoxious Star Wars know-it-all. All right, so what are we doing here? We are on a mission to watch all of the Star Wars canon TV shows and films in chronological-ish order, breaking them down, connecting the dots, and learning more about Star Wars, and maybe even a little bit about ourselves along the way. A word of warning, you will be encountering spoilers. So please be aware of that. So this week, we are wrapping up season 2 of the Clone Wars with a 3-part Boba Fett story arc. And I can already tell that Louis does not like young Boba. So we're gonna get into that. So we're also going to talk a little bit about the Brotherhood of Clones, which is very moving all the time. It's very moving. I really like the clones and that the family vibe that they have. We're going to talk a little bit about R2 and some of the knowledge that he has or may have, and a few questions about Boba Fett and the consequences of the Jedi's actions and their accountability and all that fun stuff. So stay tuned for that. But before we start, we do have to take a moment to recognize our wall of remembrance. We had some harshies this week. We had some harshies. So thoughts and prayers to our first casualty, Boba Bomb Trooper. He took that one for Mace. He took that one for Mace. Took it in the face for Mace. Poor guy.
That rhymes. That's a t-shirt.
That's a t-shirt. Took it in the face for Mace. And you can take that however you'd like.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
take it in the face.
Whatever community you're in.
Yeah, whatever community you're in.
It's October, so you can say that.
It's fine. However you want to take it. It's perfectly fine. Then we've got our vacuum troopers. 2 of those poor boys got sucked out of the Jedi cruiser when it was losing hull integrity. Poor guys. And big hurt CT-411, Commander Pons, commander of Lightning Squadron. he took a shot to the back of the dome and was unceremoniously dumped into the harsh, cold vacuum of space.
Yeah, it was kind of fucked up. She didn't have to do all that.
Aurra Singh, that fucking asshole.
But Boba didn't do it.
She's a hard ass, man.
She is.
She's a savage.
Well, she's
told those kids bye.
I know she did. She's like,
poetic. Bye.
They'll just die.
I was really expecting to see a shot from outside of the cargo pod with just like a few flashes and some blaster sound effects. I thought that she was going to saw some like just point blank.
I'm surprised she didn't. I'm very surprised she didn't.
She's just an asshole. She's like, you know what? I'm just going to let them stay in their pod, drifting in the great beyond.
Well, is she an asshole or is she just resourceful?
No.
And knows when you got to kill a motherfucker.
Well, I mean, like she said, I mean, they're living witnesses. I mean,
she is a bounty hunter.
She is a bounty hunter. So I mean,
when Hondo won't fuck with you, that's a whole other level.
Yeah, she's Hondo's crazy ex-girlfriend.
Yeah, I could see it. I could see that.
I could see it too. And I love the part where she shows up with Boba, and the first thing Hondo says after she kisses him is, "He's not mine, is he?" I was like, that came out of nowhere. I was not expecting that. So again, we're not going to really recap all the episodes. If you watched them, cool. If you haven't, go back and watch them. This is a fun arc. This is the first time chronologically that we are introduced to Boba Fett. Well, no, it's not. It's the second time it's the first time we see Boba Fett after the events of Attack of the Clones. So after Papa Jango gets
sauced,
which is the setup for this entire arc. Boba Fett going after the guy who decapitated his dad in the Battle of Geonosis. So, but anyway, so just a couple of brief things about the episodes. The episode 20, Death Trap, it does take place before episode 14 in season 2, The Duchess of Mandalore. So this stuff is, again, Dave has got us all discombobulated with the timeline. So, and then R2 Come Home, and then Lethal Trackdown. Lethal Trackdown actually takes place before episode 5 of season 3. So there's things that transpire in between all of these adventures that we're seeing. So does that really play into how you watch this? Nah, I don't think so. Not really. So it's just, just have fun with it.
Yeah.
So really cool arc. I would like to go around and get everybody's opinions on this arc this week. I feel like Daddy Louie, do we start with you or do we end with you? Because I feel like you've got something to say. Start with Daddy Louie, because you already started out by calling out Boba, this young man,
I was a little
childhood trauma.
I was a little harsh on Boba.
Yeah,
not necessarily Boba himself. His behavior was very not Boba like. You're seeing
Boba yet.
Right. He's not. And the episodes weren't bad. I like the episodes a lot. I'm very curious to see if we ever find out why Aurra Singh is so concerned with Boba. Like she, she kind of gives off this vibe that he's expendable like everybody else, but I get the impression that he's not. But we don't really
had a thing with his dad.
We don't really get deep into that. So I'm just curious. I'm curious if that ever comes to fruition later on. Some of you might know. I don't. So I would rather not know, because I'm curious if it happens. Because
it is interesting, when they were in that bar, she said that nothing is going to happen to Boba.
Yeah.
Like she was pretty adamant. She had a fucking lightsaber to her throat.
Yeah.
And a Jedi in front of her and a crazy Padawan behind her. And she was like, nothing's going to happen to Boba. So I agree with you. I mean, I'm curious to find out.
And I think if anybody else was in that position, she'd have been like, fuck it, but then she left him. She did. But I don't, why? And that's that. Yeah. I don't know. I like
still-
that dynamic. I'm curious to see if it ever evolves from there. The big thing for me was Daniel Logan playing the voice of all of the cadets.
Yeah.
So seeing him kind of, playing Boba, but also, hearing him try and change up the accents and the voices for each of the individual cadets was cool. And I do have a little story about that, but we could save that for.
So for people that may not know, explain who Daniel Logan is.
Daniel Logan is the actor, was child actor, now obviously is an adult, who played young Boba in Attack of the Clones. So when they're on Kamino and, they go to see Boba Fett or Jango Fett, door opens, Boba answers, and then that's Daniel Logan. So now as an adult, he's voicing young Boba in the Clone Wars and obviously doing the multiple voices for the cadets as well, which I thought was super cool.
It's so
cool. And he does it throughout. And I think they've got him on other projects too. He might voice some other things. I think he might voice other stuff now, but it's cool to see how he once child actor is now a regular voice actor on one of these major shows, which is super cool.
I wish
and I've actually met Daniel Logan. So
yeah, he's cool. People. He's cool.
Yeah.
You've met him too.
Who?
Daniel Logan.
Me?
Celebration.
You.
Yes. Celebration.
Legoland.
Oh, that's right.
You
Legoland.
Yeah.
Oh, we
I met him at Legoland.
No, we met him at Celebration Europe.
Oh yeah. I met him at Legoland. I pulled it down off the wall just to show.
Nice.
I signed it up there. Where is it? There.
There it is.
And I got his little picture on the back.
Nice.
And that's his armor. So he has a full Boba Fett suit of armor.
Oh, that's
honorary inductee in the 501st.
Did the guys from the dented helmet build that for him?
Probably.
Or was it 501st guys? I don't remember.
I honestly don't know.
They built Jeremy a suit too, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken. I just can't remember which crew did it. I really wish that they could have done something with Jake Lloyd as well. I mean, again, another child actor, but man, poor Jake. Yeah. Anyway, all right. So, Sherry, Tony, what are your thoughts on young Boba Fett?
Oh, I found him very interesting.
I thought it was.
Go ahead, Tony.
It was a very cool storyline. Obviously, his motivations are crystal clear. It was kind of interesting seeing him struggle with his morality as far as, okay, yeah, I'm in this to kill Mace, and I will do whatever I have to do that. But at the same time, if I can avoid collateral damage, I would really prefer to. I thought it was very interesting, and I'm curious to see more how he goes from where he is now to where we know he will become.
Yeah, because I agree, and Sherry, you had started saying something too about his morality. He's not just a cold-blooded, bloodthirsty maniac. I mean, he's really struggling.
No, I think like when we first saw the cadets, I was like, wait a minute, this one's out of place.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I said the wrong name, but because I was like, what? Jango? Boba? I don't know. But I forgot about Boba for some reason. I don't know why. But anyway.
Everybody tried to forget about Boba after that.
No, I don't know, I guess. But no, I think my favorite part was when he when they were in the reactor core area.
Oh yeah.
Or whatever it was, and his brother. I mean, because he attacked him and he didn't put a hand on that child.
He didn't,
because he was one of his brothers and he was a kid. So, and I was really glad Boba only stunned him, because I was like, oh no, don't kill him. And so, the one was collateral damage. So that's not it's his fault, but not really, but yeah. So, but
he couldn't do it. He couldn't pull the trigger on Pond.
Well, those are your own. I mean, it's your own DNA. Like, what do you do? I mean, not that they can't turn. I just.
And you could tell. I like the way that they did this because you could tell the struggle that he had because you could tell that he does have a love or a sense of caring about the clone troopers, but he's trying to reconcile his own individuality. And because he yelled, I believe he yelled at Commander Pond, and he was like, "I'm not like you. I'm not one of you. I'm not like you." And that's like, I feel like that's him lashing out. Like, I don't think he really believed what he was saying.
No, because when Jax, like, it was Jax, right?
Mm-hmm.
The young cadet.
Yeah.
Basically took him under his wing. So you got another leader type. Yeah. And I think he liked it for a minute, especially when they were shooting the things out in space, and he got it. And the guys are like, "Oh yeah, it's badass," or whatever. You could see that his young little face was like, "Oh, I'm awesome." But then revenge, man.
Yeah, revenge. Now, do you think that like if Boba Fett would have said, "You know what, I'm not doing this," and if he turned around and walked back into that escape pod, do you think the other cadets would have taken him back and forgiven him, or would they have like fucked him up? What do you guys think?
100% would have forgiven him.
Yeah.
That's their brother.
Yeah. I think they would have maybe
not like the second he walked in, they might have, tousled a little bit. If Boba came in legitimately like, "Hey, like, I'm sorry guys, my bad. I think there might be some shoving, maybe a couple punches."
Oh yeah.
And one of them would have stopped in and said, "No, brothers."
Probably Jack.
Yeah.
Jack,
so that's exactly what would happen.
Yeah,
Dave, give me a call. I can help you write this stuff.
But I think what's the woman bounty hunter? What's her name?
Aurra Singh.
And
we see her for the first time in Phantom Menace.
Well, I really think because that ship was Jango's.
Yeah, Slave One is Jango.
So she was probably getting down with Jango. I mean, come on. And she got that ship from him, and he probably said, if anything happens to me, because he was going on that mission or whatever. So in the movie, so she knew what was happening. She probably knew. I'm just speculating, obviously. And he probably said, "You got to take care of Boba."
So if anything, I was going to ask you about that. What you thought? Like, did Jango? I would imagine Jango's got a contingency plan for everything. He wasn't going to just let his son just swing. I mean, he wanted a son, a child, bad enough to say, "Give me an unaltered clone." Because Boba is as close to his son as a natural born child could be. So I would have to think that he had things in place. And so do you think that he did tell Aurra? He was like, "Hey, what happens to me?"
As soon as she kissed Hondo and she had a relationship with this dude, I'm like, because she didn't just come upon that damn ship. It's not like she took it away from Jango. We know that.
Oh yeah, no. You know what? What you just said, it kind of reminded me of we're 30 Rock nerds too. So for those of you that don't know that, Sherry and I, we are all
Great
about 30
series.
Rock. So there's an episode. It's one of the Christmas episodes with Jack and his Jack Donaghy and his mom Colleen. And we find out, spoiler, if you're not a 30 Rock fan, spoiler, we find out that, they were poor growing up, but his mom was hooking up with the founder of FAO Schwartz Toys. Every holiday, every Christmas, she was kind of putting out so that the kids had toys for Christmas. So is it possible that Aurra hooked up with Hondo to provide Boba with kind of a safe, quote unquote, relatively safe haven, where he could maybe learn some things and, be out of, out of the way and kind of off the radar? Do you think that she hooked up with him for Boba, or did she just hook up with Hondo because, Hondo's a
What do you
charmer,
mean?
and she's nuts.
Like in this episode?
No. I mean,
They
like,
hooked up before. So
Yeah,
I don't think it was during Boba's time.
so you think Aurra and Hondo had a relationship?
Oh yeah,
prior
way
to that?
way in the past,
Okay.
past. Yeah. Because Hondo's, Hondo, he's crazy. I mean, I like him. I think he's awesome, but
she's crazier.
she's
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 crazy.
I think she's just ambitious.
Yeah, I mean the thing is,
Yeah.
I mean, again, this is Hondo's first time meeting Boba. Boba's at this point at least
What,
12?
14? You think he's younger?
But like, I mean, I'm saying at the youngest, how old could he be? And I would say minimum he's 12.
Like Ahsoka's age, maybe.
So
I think he's around 12 or 14 at this point, because we figure it's what is it? What do we say? It's 20. This is 21 BBY.
Right.
And by the
But, like,
time we see Boba,
the fact that he makes the joke about, is he mine? If he's that old, like how long has it been since they were together? Like
A while.
I'm trying to think. So if I don't know, I'm not good with math, but so this is, well, we don't know exactly. I think Boba Fett was 32 BBY. I think that's when he was cloned. And so if this is 21 BBY, so yeah, that makes him what, 11 or 12?
Yeah,
because Ahsoka was 14.
Yeah.
In Attack or in the Clone Wars animation. Yeah, so she was 14.
Yeah. So she's a couple years older. That would have been an interesting relationship.
Oh.
Boba and Ahsoka.
Yeah.
Teen love across the stars on the wrong side of the tracks.
Nah.
That's a cool what if scenario,
right? Like Romeo and Juliet, Capulets and Romulans.
What if it had been Ahsoka with Mace instead of Anakin with Mace?
Ew. Oh, you mean as Padawan?
In this
I was
episode.
I was like, that is way old.
Yikes! Come on.
on this mission, what if it had been Ahsoka with Mace? Ahsoka and Boba run into each other,
and they get into a fight. They get into a scuffle, but then she senses his pain.
She's only 14. Everybody,
a scuffle. I'm not saying anything inappropriate, but she senses his pain and knows that he has a heart. He's the bounty hunter with a heart of gold.
Yeah.
Well, I would think Boba
The problem is,
at least,
if it was Ahsoka and not Anakin, then they're all dead.
That's true. That's true, Tony.
Yeah.
You're all dead.
Yeah.
And then R2,
Man,
saving their. I kind of got mad at Mace. I was like, dude, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, he was being a jerk to R2.
Yeah, don't be a
R2
jerk to our boy when he's like, oh, you're giving him, you basically letting him have feelings. What? Shut the fuck up.
R2 had fun. R2 was having fun.
And that's why Bubba wants to kill Mace, because he's an asshole.
So along those lines, two questions. First, we'll talk about R2, and then I want to ask you about the morality of what Boba's doing. So R2D2, as far as we know, he has never had a wipe. He's never had a memory wipe. So he's clearly developed a personality, and arguably you could say that he has developed feelings. He makes, he makes these sounds. He vocalizes fear and sadness and anger. We know that he cusses C-3PO out all the time. So he's got feelings. So I don't know if this is anywhere out there in canon or not, but do we think that R2 is aware of Anakin's fall? And if so, would you imagine he would be upset about that?
There's no way he could have known. I mean, unless it got, because if assuming R2 has been with Leia they became since 3PO and R2 became part of the Bail Organa family or whatever. Assuming all of that, he doesn't know that Anakin survived, right? He only knows what he's been told, which is that
I didn't think
Anakin
about
died. And because he's a droid, he's not going to get any sort of sense from Vader.
Right.
And Vader never acts like Anakin, at least never when we see him on live action. So you cannot the only thing that bothers me is if Vader becomes more aware of Anakin throughout ESB and Return of the Jedi, right? When he sees R2, would that not trigger? Because Vader sees R2, right?
Yeah.
There's got to be.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So how would that not trigger Anakin, right? You would think the way that he senses Obi-Wan, the way that he senses Luke, would he not notice that the blue and white droid that was basically his best friend or his wife's best friend, or you know what I mean? Like they were together all through the Clone Wars.
That was his droid. I mean, that was his droid for sure.
We could see it in these episodes.
And 3PO's with Padme all the time.
Right.
And we do see Vader there. I don't know if this was ever explained either. We'll have to look it up. But in ESB, when they're in the carbon freezing chamber, he does not allow Boba Fett to shoot Chewbacca because and C-3PO is on Chewie's back.
Yes.
Why did Vader stop Boba Fett from saucing Chewbacca right then and there?
Yeah, because that was the opportunity.
That was the opportunity. So
maybe.
So
I mean, he still has the
it's
memory.
canon or not. But the thing when it comes to R2 is, I remember reading this a while back, is that the last time, like it's a point all throughout the original trilogy, is that every time somebody tells R2 stay here, he never fucking stays there. He always goes and does whatever he needs to do. But the theory is that this goes back to the last time that he stayed where he was told to stay was the last time he saw Anakin.
Yeah.
Because Anakin told him to stay with the ship, and then he never came back because he went and fought Obi-Wan and lost.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And R2 never saw him again from that point on.
So how did
now R2 is like, fuck you, I'm never staying here. Yeah.
I don't stay put anymore. Fuck that.
Okay, that's a good one, Tony. Holy shit. I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
All right.
So I think it's possible over the years, because we know R2's nosy as fuck. It's possible that over the years, I don't think anybody told him or took the time to like console him and say Anakin.
No, I don't.
He may have overheard some shit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, he may have overheard some shit over the years.
Of course he overheard. I mean, come on.
He's nosy as fuck.
He didn't have a sense for it, but that little shit could fight. He's cracking me up. And he grabbed that ship and just took off. I was like, okay.
I like when he dropped the thermal detonator.
Oh, that was hilarious.
The clone trooper's thermal detonator off and dropped it down that shaft. And he's just like,
he like had the boxes. He's like, la la la.
He's having a good time. So R2D2 is, and there's always these debates online, you know, R2 versus Chopper, and we're not going to get into it, but that's because Chopper's got this great personality as well. Very R2.
I mean, I know nobody likes to talk about the sequels, but BB-8 is a cool ass droid. He's got dang good personality. I think BB-8 is cool as shit.
BB-8 is cool, but he's more cute than cool. You know what I mean? I mean, he's
cute.
I don't know that person. What is it? The Force Awakens, when they're having trouble in the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
And Finn is trying to work with him, and he was like flying around, and he gives them the finger with the little light.
Yeah.
little lighter.
I think they were trying to make another R2D2.
And I mean, he won't ever be as good as R2D2, but R2D2
but
has also had like, 9 films and a whole show to
He had like
evolve
50
as a
years to
character.
like develop as a character.
50 years. Yeah. You can't replace it. He's just the sweetest. And what was interesting is that I was telling Tom that when he did get
We saw this guy too. We saw this guy too for the first time. Bosk.
Freaking boss.
Yeah.
When Luke got R2,
Yeah.
he didn't wipe him.
No.
He just cleaned him. He just gave him the bath, which is interesting because you usually wipe every droid you get. So,
But if he'd wiped them, they wouldn't have gotten the message from Leia.
Right.
No. I know, but what I'm saying is like, I know he's a robot, but there had to be some kind of force something for him not to wipe R2 because
It's just one of those things that
I know that's part of the script, but you know what I'm saying.
Sure, but it sometimes it's like he's the only droid in the galaxy that never gets a memory wipe.
No, and he knows everything.
He knows everything, and like he still probably has like secret plans somewhere buried in his circuit.
Oh yeah. If he's never been wiped and he's never deleted any of his own files, you can only imagine what that guy's got in his data log.
Well, and
there should be a whole storyline on him.
There should
trying
be
to capture him and with all the information.
Tales of R2. Tales of R2.
Because he sits in every meeting in the background, just chilling, listening to everything. Like when he busted into the Jedi temple and just freaking no one stopped him. Like any other droid, somebody would have been like, what is wrong with this dude?
Yeah,
like
he just comes flying in there.
Okay, somebody would have stopped, but because it's R2, everybody knows, and it's Anakin's droid. He just busted through and then tried to have a fight with the other one. Like, get the fuck out of my way.
Yeah, that was great too.
He started pulling all his shit out. Like, I'm gonna beat your ass. Move out the way.
And Sherry, like you said, people were just like, "Oh, that's Anakin's droid. Here we go."
Well, when Ahsoka said it, they were like, "Oh, okay. Well, let him play what he's got to play because apparently it's important." But my thing is like Plo Koon, dude. You've seen this dude in meetings. Like, don't act like you don't know who he is. Okay, he's always in wherever Anakin is. Usually, R2's not far behind.
Right there, yeah.
Right, but remember, they don't see droids the same way that like Anakin and Ahsoka do.
I know that because they don't no attachment, blah, blah,
it's just
blah.
a toaster. As far as they're concerned, it's just a piece of equipment. But
the toaster that saved their ass how many times?
Yeah.
I mean, holy fuck, a lot of times.
For Ahsoka, that's R2-y. That's her R2-y. That's I mean, that's her buddy too. And and speaking of Ahsoka, I love the line in that Plo Koon says to her about being more subtle, and that you picked up some of your master's traits. She's like, "What? I was subtle. What?"
Okay, she was subtle. That was not her fault.
Well, we didn't see the other 4 bars.
The other places.
No. I know those, but I'm just saying.
On that last place, she was being fairly subtle. Like she wasn't honest about it, but
but I could totally see her busting into one of those bars, whipping out the lightsaber. Where's Aurra Singh, Slimo?
You bitch.
I could totally see her doing it, and then Plo's just in the back like Ahsoka.
I love his voice. I love it. It's almost up there with Optimus Prime. But
he's like a mild-tempered Batman. He's like if Batman was like not so uptight. Like if Batman got more ass, I feel like he would be chill. If Batman got ass and smoked weed, he would be Plo Koon.
He would be Plo Koon.
He would be Plo Koon, 100%.
I like Ahsoka's ascent. Like you can see her progression.
Yes.
Because when she stood there and actually focused, she's fucking powerful as fuck for a 14-year-old. I'm like, damn, bitch.
She was tuning into people like fucking radio stations. Yeah, like she was like listening. She was like, nope, not that. And then she would like tune into a different conversation. Nope, not that one.
That is 100% control.
Yeah, she's getting.
So they don't have to teach her the Force. They just need her. She needs some discipline.
Right.
And that's what Anakin's supposed to teach her. But
he's not. It's everybody else.
Anakin's got stuff to do. Anakin's got things to blow up.
He's in a war.
Yeah, he's got things to do. So now it's going to be really fun once we get up to Rebels, once we see Ahsoka in Rebels, once we see Ahsoka again in her series, having all of this, just still fresh in our minds, and then we get to experience adult Ahsoka, in a new, we're going to see her in a new way. So, so let's get serious for a minute. Let's get real. Can we get real, guys? Can we get real?
Sure.
We're going to talk about morality. So Boba Fett saw his father decapitated. Now, say what you want about Jango Fett, right or wrong, like he said, he's just, a simple man trying to make his way in the universe. So someone offered him this opportunity to get fucking paid if he would be the genetic seed for an entire army, so he's a mercenary. He's, okay, I'll do it. Sure. But we do find out through Hondo that he was in fact an honorable man. We do hear other little things about Jango through, the years, through, the expanded universe and other sources, that he was not like a bad guy necessarily. No. He was legit he's a bounty hunter. He's a mercenary. He's just trying to make his way in the universe. Like he said, a simple man, but he still wanted a child. He still wanted to have someone to love, presumably.
Yeah.
And then so for, like Boba didn't know that they were on the wrong side. Dooku didn't even feel that he was on the wrong side. They thought that they were doing the right thing by fighting against the corrupt Republic. And as we're seeing, there's no doubt about it. The Republic is absolutely corrupt, and it was corrupt before Palpatine got his mitts on it. So, the corruption in the Senate was a very real thing. So Dooku and the other separatists, they saw this. They were,
but they also are exploiting it. They're not really fixing it. So
they do some fucked up shit. No doubt about it. They do some fucked up shit. Mm-hmm. But Grievous is evil. Dooku fell way the fuck off into the dark side. Yes. Mm. But, when you look at Jango, like I can't see an evil man. And I'm sure that Boba didn't see an evil man either. He saw his dad who was, who had a job, he was there every night. He was home every night. There's, he was a single father.
He was also cheerleading his dad from the back seat, telling him to shoot the shit out of the Jedi starfighter. Get him, Dad.
Get him, Dad. Yeah, fucking kill that Jedi.
That's so fun for the day.
Yeah.
And then when he dropped that seismic bomb and they thought that, they'd killed Obi-Wan, Boba Fett was like, yeah. But also think about it. He's been indoctrinated into this Mandalorian culture to distrust and not like Jedi. Jedi are they're the oppressors. They're the colonizers. They're the baby stealers. That's probably what he's been told his entire life. So to Boba Fett, the Jedi are the bad guys. Like they're the evil, scary ones. And so of course he's going to cheer Dad. Oh, we have a hand. Tony, go ahead.
A quick aside on that. Yeah. We mentioned this when we were doing the Mandalorian arc, that the Fetts aren't really Mandalorians.
I was going to say the same
did he actually grow up in that culture?
Well, it's the clones were trained by Mandalorians. I don't know if that's canon anymore. That was in the books. That was in the expanded universe.
Man, don't talk about that.
I know, but
it ain't canon.
They were trained. I mean, because that's why they
computer trained them.
They were trained by Mandalorians. I don't know if we actually end up seeing that or not.
We've never seen that.
I don't think we've seen it.
I don't think Boba counts as a clone in that case because again, Boba, like as far as I'm concerned, Boba was trained by Jango directly.
Oh yeah, that's definitely.
But we still don't know.
So
as far as like canon is concerned, we still don't know the truth. Like Jango and Boba's backgrounds are still murky. the most that we've ever gotten in canon was when we see his chain code, when we see Boba Fett's chain code for the first time. People have it's in Mandoa, and people have translated it. So, and it talks about I think Jaster Muriel and Concordia. I'll have to look back at it, but that chain code has been partially deciphered. So there is definitely a connection between the Fetts and Mandalore. I know George has come out many, many times and said, I never said they were Mandalorians. They just have Mandalorian armor. But he's also never denied that they're Mandalorians. He has also never come out and said they are not Mandalorians.
Maybe they were like captured like in the what was the oh my god.
Din?
Yes.
Yeah.
Not captured, but he was rescued. Maybe. And maybe kind of raised in that environment. It's possible.
Absolutely. I mean, so, and that it's, again, that's all still very, very murky, but
yeah.
So we don't know yet. I'm hoping that we will officially find out. Maybe it's in some books that I haven't read yet. I don't know. But I'm sure we'll find out. Oh, I did find out about the no disintegrations thing. There's a book series out, and it's canon. And is it called From a Certain Point of View? I think it's called From a Certain Point of View. But there's short stories, and
that's what it's called.
Yeah. And I guess there's the reason that Boba Fett was on a job for Darth Vader, and he ended up disintegrating some rebels that Vader wanted alive so he could question him. And so when he heard about the bounty on Solo, he decided to take that on so he could get back in Vader's good graces since he fucked up the last job. And so that's why when Vader's like, no disintegrations, just to let him know that, you know what, I'm giving you a second chance, motherfucking bounty hunter, but don't fucking blow it. So I would love to read that. I would love to read that book. I guess it's just all full of short stories just from different characters. So it looks good. Maybe Santa Claus will bring that for me. I don't know. That'd be nice. Hint, hint. Wait.
She's taking notes right now. She's writing it down.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about. So the morality question, we don't know who put Boba Fett up to this. I'm assuming that it's, he wants to do this. Do we think that he's justified to seek this level of vengeance? And I loved in this episode, it said that, how there's all the little moral at the beginning, the little fortune cookie wisdom at the beginning of each episode.
Yeah.
And in this one, it said revenge is a confession of pain. And I was like, oh.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
Me too.
Like, oh.
It's true.
And we see Boba's pain in this. So, and I don't know if it was Boba that did this or if it was one of the other bounty hunters. I would assume it's Boba. But putting Jango's helmet in the ship rigged with a bomb, that was cold-blooded.
So my question is who dug out the head to get him the helmet?
It flies out.
He picks it up
out?
in
yeah.
Okay, my
yeah. Or immediately after Jango dies, you see Boba holding the helmet.
Oh, I know, but did it fly off?
Did the head come out of the helmet?
Or did he just
he picks it up and the head just falls.
It's like a floppy wet thing.
I'm just
like when you open a can of cranberry sauce, and it just congeals out.
So that's my question.
So if you
we see that?
We did actually see it. It's very, very subtle. And it
flies off.
Is it when the head's rolling?
No. So when he's decapitated and we see the helmet flying, if you look on the ground, you see the shadow of the head flying out of the helmet.
Okay.
So that was something that was put in because people were like, yeah, is his? Because if you've ever worn...
You got this boy just holding the helmet.
But if you've ever worn one of these helmets, like usually they're pretty well padded. like his helmet or his head would not have just fallen out.
But
like
that's my
by Boba
thing.
picking it up. It would be like shaking it, like, come on, Dad, get out of there.
There'd have been guts and blood coming out of the bottom of the bucket.
I mean, I don't
Like
know.
while he's holding it.
Just
Like in what was it, Tropic Thunder, when he holds up the head
yeah.
and he's like messing with the bottom and all his
Yeah,
schmutz
he's
coming up.
um
But what do we think about that? What do we think about Boba's morality here? I mean, is he justified?
I think he is justified.
I mean, in his own mind, I'm sure that he is.
Right.
No.
I mean, it's revenge.
I'm saying not even on that level. I'm saying not even like in his mind. Yes, I think without a doubt he wants to take revenge. He wants to avenge his father's death. I mean, it was a clean, honorable death on the field of battle.
Yes.
You know, it was a good
but a
death.
child doesn't know that. I mean, he had to be like, maybe 9, 10.
Right. So he wants to avenge the death of his father. So looking from outside of that, looking in, is he justified to go to these lengths to take out Mace Windu? Because he can't go toe to toe with him.
I mean,
No, but
Mace didn't need to like do that little pose after he decapitated him. Like he did the whole little thing, and he goes bam, and then he like sits. He holds the pose, and then he like looks with. He didn't need to do that.
He was very satisfied, but
Right.
you
could have just decapitated and kept going. Like
no,
you
but
didn't.
That's again.
That's pause for a minute.
That was his motherfucker pose. Right.
That was.
Like Samuel L. Jackson couldn't say the words motherfucker in the movie, so he said it with his body. He was like,
there was nothing clean about that.
Well, there was no
honorable.
blood because, No, I'm just kidding.
I love Lou's making the argument that
pass on the end.
So I'm just curious, Lou, if a batter hits a home run off the pitcher and stares him down too long to see the third base murder, that's what this was.
Like, I feel like that
100%.
Mace Windu's pose, that should be sign language for motherfucker. Like they should enter that pose into American Sign Language. That should be or just international sign language. The pose, like if you want to call someone a motherfucker, Mace Windu
do the pose. No, I think he was. I mean, in his own mind, yes, I think he's justified. But he does have, which is funny, he does have a good basis on morality because he wasn't trying to kill all the Jedi like everybody else wanted to do. That wasn't his focus.
He just wanted Mace.
Correct. And he didn't want to blow up the whole ship. Aurra wanted him to blow up the whole fucking ship, and he didn't want to do it.
No, he didn't want to kill his brothers. Right. He didn't want to kill the other Jedi.
He even went into the hostages and he said, "This is not what I wanted."
Oh,
like, just so you know, like, he didn't want nothing to do with that.
So,
it was good to see,
and he was very upset.
So I think to answer the question, his original plan to basically just sneak a bomb into Mace's door so that when he walks in, he can out. There's an argument to be made that from his point of view, that was fair.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Everything that happened after that, the extremes to which it got, that's where you can't really make that argument anymore.
Right.
But from that point on, it felt like he was like when he was in the ship doing that, it felt more personal. After that, it felt more guided. It like Aurra Singh was guiding him more. Like he was throughout the whole time, he was reluctant the entire time after that initial dropping the bomb that didn't work or whatever. Everything after that, he was like, I'm good. Like we don't need to do this.
Yeah.
Which I think goes back to what the morality of Jango was, because if Boba's morality is just, I'm only going to I'm only going to take from those who need to be taken from.
Right.
Kind of thing. And if you learn that from Jango, then now we're starting to learn a little bit about Jango, which makes me a little confused because I don't know that Jango would have just stood by Dooku while Dooku tried to take out all of these Jedi.
Well, again, Jedi are are the bad guys from their perspective.
But that wasn't for, you're talking about when Jango, right?
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't important to him. I mean, he's still a bounty hunter, so that wasn't his doing. He didn't do. He's just gonna stand there. He's like, dude, that's on you.
None of my, like Hondo.
So morality is
sitting back.
Is different for.
But he doesn't need the money, right? Because they're already paying him a shit ton of money on Camino.
Yeah.
Right. He has enough money to last him a lifetime. So at this point, he's bounty hunting for the hell, like for the fun of it.
What you mean on Geonosis?
Right. Well, all of the bounty hunting that he does that takes place in Attack of the Clones, that's all for shits and giggles for Jango.
Yeah.
Because he's not doing it for money.
But he also takes Boba with him to certain things. So he's teaching
He's training him. He's teaching him.
Correct. So
he's on retainer.
I think he was using it as a teachable moment for Boba.
Like, here's how to assassinate a sleeping princess.
Well, whatever. Yeah. I mean, but it's its job.
It's a job.
It's a job. I mean, I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying, we really do have bounty hunters in this world. So they're focused on their mission and who they're supposed to capture. Now, some people can get in their way, and we know that happens. You gotta take. I don't know. I don't think that's a morale issue. It's a job.
It's a job. Yeah. So he's just doing his job, and he's. I'm
it's
sure
not that he's not a good man. I mean, it doesn't mean that he's not a good man. It's just
right.
We do see him
gray area.
Yes, he does. He does operate in a morally gray area.
Yeah.
We do see him try to minimize civilian casualties. When we see Zam Wessel getting, when he takes her out, he shoots her with that saber dart. He could have just launched his rocket down there, wiped everybody out, but he didn't do that.
Because it's not necessary.
Right. But I do think that at this point he's on retainer. I don't think that it's even like he's working for, he's in the employ of, so when we see him, coordinating the assassination attempt on Padme, that was at the behest of his employer, Count Dooku,
which was Dooku.
I can see that.
Which was ultimately at the behest of
Palpatine. Yeah,
Palpatine.
And then
Palpatine influenced Dooku, who hired Jango, who hired Sam, who then used a droid to drop off bugs at at Padme's door. And had
Jango not used that Kaminoan saber dart, they never would have fucking found him. Because it's that whole chain. Chain, So,
but yeah.
So I don't know. Also begs the question then: Did the Kaminoans hire Jango, or
no? I don't think so.
Did
Dooku find him,
or Sidious go to Jango and say, "Hey, you're going to go to Kamino and do this"?
So I think that it was all like a package deal. The Kaminoans were hired to create this clone army. Jango was hired to be the donator and other duties as assigned. As we've seen on many job offerings. It's like, yeah, we're going to hire you to do this and other jobs as assigned, other tasks as assigned. He was Dooku's bodyguard on Geonosis. He was there to act as muscle. He didn't engage in the actual battle initially. He was just there to, keep Dooku safe. And then when that was getting a little complicated, he had to jump down there and do his thing. Unfortunately, Mace did his thing a little bit better, sadly, but I don't know. There you are. And so one more thing to think about before we wrap things up. The accountability and the consequences of Jedi involvement in things. We won't talk about it now because we don't have time, but everything that the Jedi do, as well intended as they think it is, we're seeing the consequences of that. We're seeing the consequences always of their arrogance, of their short-sightedness. Why did they not take young Boba with them You know, they love taking on kids. So why didn't the Jedi take this young boy? Unless he was spirited away by someone else who was, you know, off camera that we didn't see. Well, I don't know how.
I think he ran to the ship.
That's entirely possible. I have no idea how he gets from Geonosis to where we see him in this story arc. You know, what's that story? I'd like to read about that.
Well, we know he knows how to fly the ship.
Sure. Yeah.
So he probably flew it and went to his, the nearest associate that he knew his father dealt with.
And maybe Jango told him, if things go sideways,
go here,
go see Aurra sing.
Probably did.
Yeah, he's got a plan. Everything is calculated, like Louis said. Everything.
I would love to know that story. I wonder if it's out there. I do.
Maybe not, but you know,
if it's not out there, then it needs to be written. That time frame between Geonosis and that this story arc that we just saw. I want to know how they got hooked up. All right.
All right.
Does anyone have anything else?
We need a Book of Boba Fett preview.
We do. We need
a prequel.
We need Tales of Boba Fett, you know, or Tales of the Bounty Hunters. There's a book series, Tales of the Bounty Hunters. We got Tales of the Jedi. We got Tales of the Sith. Let's see Tales of the Bounty Hunters. Let's see more about Boba and Aurra and Bosk and Dengar. Let's see more of these guys.
That would be fun.
That would be great. So, Dave, I know it's been a couple days since I talked to you, but I know you're listening, buddy. So let's see that next, please. Right. Tales of the Bounty Hunters. I would love it. So, anything else?
Nope.
No. All right. So we are going to be on hiatus for the next 2 weeks. So no homework. So we're going to be off for the next 2 weeks as we head out to the lair of Daddy Louie to shoot our next season of Star Wars SafeSpace. So until then, no homework. But if you haven't caught all of our episodes, now is a perfect time to catch up. And of course, do be sure to tell your friends and your enemies all about us.
There you go.
Depending on how you feel. And we've got to do our obligatory pimping. New merch is up on the website. We just went through and we fine-tuned some of the merch. Sherry and I. So there's some new stuff up there. So if you haven't checked it out, head on over to circleofnerds.com/merch and pick you up a nice t-shirt. Show the world that you are Swarzy curious. You don't know everything about Star Wars, but you're a little Swarzy curious, and that's okay too. So yeah, and follow us on all the socials. We've got some big things coming next season. We're going to be shooting the whole thing in the lair of Daddy Louie, which sounds really uncomfortable. Like saying that out loud, Daddy's Dungeon. Oh, that's. I don't know if I like that. It makes me feel.
We'll have to wear some really provocative costumes.
We're gonna have to put plastic.
I've been there. It's more of a fungeon than a dungeon.
Ooh, a fungeon. Ooh,
I like that. All right, so we're gonna be heading to the fungeon to do our thing. We're gonna be going over season 3 of the Clone Wars, and folks, it's not going to stop. I mean, there's a couple filler episodes here and there, but this ride is just going to get more and more wild as we go on with the Clone Wars. And I can't wait for Rebels. I can't wait because I've not seen every episode of Rebels. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm so excited to share that experience with you guys. So guys, gals, and non-binary pals. I'm very, very excited to do that. So again, circlenerds.com/merch. Follow us at the SWS show on all the socials. And let us know if you'd like to see anything else from us. You know, you want to see us do some reviews. You want to see us do some, some unboxings or anything like that, which we do have set up to do
all right.
at some point. Maybe while we're on our break, we can finally do some unboxings. Because I've got 37. I'll probably just spend that 2 weeks editing and getting the show out.
All right.
I've been saying that for 2 years. Anyway. All right. So that's going to do it for us. Thank you all for joining us. We really do appreciate you, Star Warriors. We know that you could be anywhere doing anything else, but you have taken the time to listen to us, and we absolutely do appreciate you. So always remember that if nobody does anything nice for you, do something nice to yourself. And we're going to see y'all in a few weeks. Not next week. We're going to see y'all in 2 weeks. Check out our website for the schedule. All right. Bye.
Bye.